Hey guys, this is Tyler here at the Seat Shop. I'm going to walk you through some steps on how to replace the cover for a 2007 to 2014 Chevrolet 2500 bucket seat or Tahoe. This one is the light cashmere grain Meridian. So I'm going to walk you through a couple things first, removing this from your pickup truck or Tahoe. You will need to remove 8 screws, Phillip head screws, from the bottom of this plate. There's a plate that sits right here on the bottom of this console. So you'll remove the 8 Phillip head screws in the pickup truck, remove those, and then on the back side, you'll have your hinge that holds this together. There are 4 screws, Phillips, that will remove those. You can remove the hinge. Once you do that, the console lid is free and you can get to work on removing the cover. So the first thing you'll want to do is flip it over on top. There's a rubber insert here that you'll want to remove. It comes right up. There's 2 tabs here, which these will push in and hold it steady. So you remove that, and then you have 4 Phillip head screws right here. Remove those. Flip console lid over, and then you'll have 2 more screws here at the front by the latch. Remove those. Okay, once you have these removed, then you can begin to pop this latch or this cover here off. There's a little notch on the inside here. And lift that up and move it over. Flip it out, and you'll have to get it at an angle to pull this out, your tray, and set it aside. All right, now you have that out. You can see you have staples that hold your cover onto the console lid. So you'll have to remove all these staples throughout the whole lid. And they're all along the side and the back and on the face. So you can remove those by using a flathead. You can pry, pull them out, or you can use a pair of dikes. You can pull them out, whichever works for you the best. Now you can see on the underneath on the underside of this lid, there's an indentation where that plate was sitting all the way around. You can see, I mean, it's kind of hard probably to see through the camera, but whenever you put your new cover on and staple this back, you will want to put your staples below that line, so maybe an inch or so below the top here. That way when you put the lid on, it won't have any obstruction from the staples. All right, once you have all your staples out, remove your old cover. Got one staple in here that broke off. Make sure to get it out. That way, when you put the new cover on, it won't puncture through the new cover. All right. Next thing you want to do is grab your cover, and you want to fit the front of the lid first. Which on your cover, you'll see the seam line where it goes past it an inch. That will be the front of your console. Sometimes it's pretty tight fit, so you'll just have to work it around. I like to work it to where you get this cut right in the center of your tray. Okay, once you have it lined up where you want it, you'll want to first do the front of your lid where the latch goes. So you'll fill your seams, make sure it follows the crease along the edges of your console lid. And when you have it, you can feel it, but when you have it where you would like it to be and it feels right, get it nice and tight, roll it over the edges, and you'll get a staple gun. You'll need a staple gun and 5 32nd-inch staples, because you're going to have to staple all the way around on the inside and then here along where the tray sits. So once you have that rolled over, put you a staple. front stapled, pull the back tight. Make sure you get out all the slack from here to here. Pull it tight, fold it around. And then throw a couple staples in it. Okay, once you have the front and back, then you can start lining up your edge. You'll have to pull the slack. You'll see it'll bunch up here. You'll have to fold that over. So you'll want to start at the front and work your way towards the back. And you can fold it down first before you do that. Sometimes you'll have to cut to make room around these posts that the back plate screws into. So when you fold it down, you can see where it's at, so you can notch around this area right here, around that post, around this one up front, here and here. And there's also two right here, here and here. So you can trim around those. That way you can fold it down and get a good, nice, snug fit. Okay, once you have made a notch around all the posts here that the plate screws into, then you continue to pull it tight. Make sure you get your seam to follow the crease on both sides to where you want it. Make sure it gets here all the way around. I like to put one on each side to hold it, and then I'll start and work my way around on one side to the other. Okay. Keep checking, make sure your seam is good. Move to the other side. Okay, once you do that, you can go ahead and fold these corners. Sometimes you may have to cut them, sometimes you won't, just depends. Fold them in, roll it over, and get all the slack out. You can make a notch right here and here along this area. So you can fold that down. I'm going to notch out a little here. Make it easier for this corner. Once you get it nice and snug all the way around the way you want it, then you can come back and put staples all the way around. Doesn't have to look pretty, just has to hold. There's no amount of staples that needs to go in, just as long as it holds the cover on. Next thing you'll want to do is mock up for your tray here. You kind of place it to see where you have to cut out. Just cut little by little until you have enough room for your tray. Now I can fill the back where this will rest. Okay, so that'll work. That fits down in there. Flip flip it over. I'm going to cut a little bit off of here that had a little extra room. You can see on the old cover how it notches here. You can make the same cuts on your cover to give it the same kind of fit. Okay. And you can follow the edge here with your finger, and you can kind of tell exactly where you need to get. Okay, so that fits. Take it out. Make sure after you cut that it does fit. If it does, take it out, and then you can staple your edges here. Might have to trim a little along the edges so it doesn't fold over here and your tray sits on top of it. You don't want that. Next thing is to fit the tray back into the lid. You'll want to put the latch in first, and then when you flip it over, you can look for this tab back here to make sure it clears, and then push it in. Pull it tight. And you can put the Phillips screws back in to keep it in place. Put your Phillips in the front. Put those two screws in, tighten them down. Flip it over. Make sure it's latched. You hear that latch? That's good. Put your two Phillip head screws back in here to hold your latch in place. Okay, well, once you do that, you can put a little rubber pad back in the tray here, push it down to where it holds, and take it back to your truck, put the plate on it. Actually, first you'll want to put the 4 screws here for your hinge, and then you'll put your plate back on top, followed by the 8 Phillip head screws to hold it in place. And there you go.